Well, if you can't understand all those nutritional labels at the supermarket, guess what? You're not alone. So a medical watchdog group is calling for a new standardized system that would help us all make better informed choices. And here to look at the proposed changes is registered dietitian Samantha Heller. Samantha, good to see you here this morning.
You too. Thanks.
So did it boil down to it's just so confusing for people that finally somebody had the good sense to say, let's make this easier for everybody?
Well, that's part of it, but also a lot of the information on the front of packages is very confusing for consumers because a package can say high in fiber, a good source of calcium, and still be high in saturated fat or sodium. So consumers aren't really sure what they're getting, and it's very frustrating. So the Institute of Medicine came out with something they're likening to the Energy Star appliance ratings, except now they're applying it to food.
Okay.
And what they're doing is they're looking at calories, and then they're evaluating saturated and trans fat, sodium, and added sugars. And if you meet their criteria, you get a check mark for each, or a star. They're still working on this. It's a work in progress. It's an enormous undertaking. Food and nutrition is very complicated.
On your screen now, you can see a quick little example of what we're talking about. These recommendations that the Institute of Medicine is making, do you think they're realistic?
I do. I think that we need a simple way to choose healthier foods in the store and making it easier for consumers. I teach a whole 1-hour class on how to read a food label to people because they, as you're saying, they're confusing and it does make your head spin. So this is an easy way, front of the package, a consumer can look at it and boom, they can make their choice.
All right, let's throw one of those labels back on the screen again just so people can actually really get a good look at this. So we've got a Raisin Bran cereal here. It's low in saturated fats and sodium, so it would then get what, 2 checks? Is that what we're saying?
It gets 2 checks, and the reason it doesn't have the 3rd check is it's exceeding what the Institute of Medicine is putting forth as their criteria for added sugar. So it gets 2 checks instead of 3.
Okay, so we would see the 2 checks or the 3 checks or the 1 check like you see there, but you'd also get the same, I guess, the listing of the nutritional facts
Well, that's
below.
on the back.
That'll be on the back, okay.
This is the front and the back. The front is just going to be that little square or circle with the check marks or stars. They're kind of deciding which one they want to use, and the number of calories.
As an expert in the field here, when you see something like that, do you think that this is a great step forward? This will help people immeasurably?
I think it will eventually. I think there are inherent problems because all foods are very different, and what might happen is some foods will be left out and not get check marks that should, and vice versa.
Is it a little too simplistic? Is that what you're saying? I mean, we talk about labels being misleading.
Right.
Could this potentially lead to another problem kind of on the flip side?
I think it could. For example, a diet soda could easily qualify for 3 checks, but so does broccoli. I don't really see them as equivalent. And in the same token, vice versa, things like nuts and olive oil may not get any checks when in fact we know they're healthy for you. As
far as the food industry, what are their thoughts on something like this?
Well, they are pushing back. They jumped the gun here. This has been in the process for a long time. They came out with the front of food facts up front, but they're listing so many different numbers and things that also is confusing. And no food company wants to get no checks and say, don't buy me, I'm not a healthy food. So I think it's going to take a time, it's going to be a process for the food manufacturers and the Institute of Medicine to work together to create these labels that are fair to everybody. And the Institute of Medicine is really trying to take everything into consideration.
Yeah, it's like putting calories on fast food restaurants here in New York, so you see everything that you're eating. It's like the restaurants with the letter grades.
Does that help you when you see the calories? Does that work for you?
It's definitely a deterrent.
Yeah.
Definitely a deterrent. All right, Samantha Heller, good to see you. Thank you so much.